For 35,000 years, the Jarowair had no contact at all with the outside world.
Let's see who can shoot the furthest.
Recent studies indicate they were amongst the very first peoples to have migrated from Africa to the rest of the world.
I'm going to try again. This time it'll really go far.
In theory, the Jarowair Reserve is protected by the Indian Army and access is prohibited. But since 2012, contact with Indians living on the other side of the island has increased. Now, tourists and poachers are threatening their fragile way of life. More than once, tribesmen have traveled to meet with the authorities, but their complaints have been ignored. That is why we decided to break the ban and meet them to hear their side of the story.
We lead a peaceful existence in the forest, and we're happy. We have everything we need here. The trees bear a lot of fruit, and the flowers are magnificent.
Here, everything is beautiful and peaceful. We like sharing everything. We are all together. And we only hunt what we need.
But before, there were no strangers here. Today, they're getting closer and closer to us.
The Jarowair are pygmies and hunter-gatherers. Their way of life has hardly changed since the Stone Age. The change has come quickly, and they now have tools, torches, and kitchenware. And they have started wearing clothes. Most of their possessions were given to them by the park rangers. Rangers who were created by the Indian government to protect the Jarowair from the outside world. Since then, however, their way of life has been changed forever.
Before, there were no metal pots. There were no metal dishes.
Sometimes you have to walk at night, but it's too dark. In the past, we used to make candles from beeswax. But today, we have torches. The Indians give them to us. They provide more light and save us from darkness.
Today was all of that. Things have changed. Today, we can walk at night.
In the early hours of the morning, the men go hunting. But there's a constant fear of running into outsiders. In spite of the rangers' patrols, dozens of armed poachers hunt with impunity on their land.
There are armed poachers who shoot at us. They steal from us. They try to scare us.
They want to buy wild pigs from us. They set traps to catch them. They kill our pigs. Sometimes they even give us a little money or clothes. That's how they steal our game.
Before, we only ate pigs, but now there are hardly any left. We were forced to hunt deer for food.
We don't know what to do anymore.
We sit down and think about all that.
We think about it all the time.
After the wild pigs, it's deer. Their numbers have decreased dramatically since the poachers forced the Jarowair to hunt for them. Wild game is being sold illegally on the Indian market. But the Jarawa have even worse things to tell us.
They're offering us tobacco, and they want to show us how to chew it. It's not good for us. They give us alcohol. We don't want that either. But they still try and make us drink it. We don't want any, it's bad. But they try and influence us. It's like that in your world.
The Jarawa have been given a tiny glimpse of our world, but the increasing number of tourists is starting to make them feel like exhibits in a zoo. An Indian policeman is filming for a tourist next to a road that crosses the Jarawa Reserve. None of the tourists on the Andaman Islands wants to talk about these photo safaris, except for one guide who wishes to remain anonymous.
70 to 80% of Indian tourists who arrive in Andamans, in their package, like it's always there, like, you know, just to have a look, like how these Jarawas are, like. And that became actually a commercial business for all these travel agents in Port Blair, like. And people are taking nude photographs and they are selling their CDs, like, you know, naked ladies dancing. I feel like it's actually sort of an exploitation, like these innocent Aboriginal primitive tribes, like, you know.
At the beginning of the road are the same signs you will see in game reserves. Escorted by the Indian Army, dozens of vehicles cross the reserve 4 times a day. Inside are tourists who have paid to take pictures of the Jarawa. Tourist videos have been uploaded online. Nobody had ever asked the Jarawa what they thought, but we did. Takulu, one of the hunters, is the clan's spokesman. With tourism, money came into their lives.
Over there, they give us money to go shopping. We buy cakes for the kids. We buy food, sugar, for example. If we don't have money, it's not a problem. But in the shop, if we don't have money, we can't buy cakes. If you don't have money, you can't get anything. We don't like going on the road. It's very bad. We don't like going there.
With the Indian government focusing on developing the archipelago, the plight of the Jarawa seems to come a distant second to other concerns. Especially now the Andaman Islands have become the most popular destination for India's new middle class. The ruling nationalist BJP party is denying the Jarawa the right to self-determination, something the Jarawa say is unacceptable.
We don't like the outside world. We don't want to have any contact and be too close to your world. We want to stay the way we are. Your world is bad for us. We don't like it. There are too many people. There's too much noise and no peace. Your world smells bad. We're at home here. This is where we want to live. Here we can find everything we need. In the evenings we're together. We sit down. We build a bonfire. We're happy together. We have no worries.
Despite repeated requests, no Indian official was willing to be interviewed. Included in the vision of the Indian agency responsible for the Jarawa is to discharge its duties and responsibilities on behalf of India and the world to this unique heritage by conserving the ecology and environment to enable the indigenous people to live as per their own genius. But the temptation to force the Jarawa from their unspoilt beaches to build hotels might prove too strong, whatever the declarations of goodwill the Indian authorities may have made. And with no clear policy or seeming will to protect them, how soon will it be before the world's oldest peoples simply disappear forever?